Do you remember where Jesus was last week at this time? He was at a wedding feast. Do you remember that? He was at a wedding feast celebrating God's extravagance and God's love. Today, Jesus is in the synagogue. And he quotes from the prophet Isaiah, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me." But he also reminds us in that word today, in the fulfilling of that hearing in you today, that the Spirit of the Lord is also upon each of you, because you are anointed in the power of the Spirit. But that power has to be reflected in our own parish life. The mission of Jesus, which is very clear and which we can follow in all of the Gospels, is also our own parish mission and parish life. The mission of Jesus and the mission of every parish. Somehow those two missions come together because they all are the mission of our God. So Jesus is sent to his hometown. He's sent to the synagogue. He's sent to the people. And we are sent and will be sent at the end of this liturgy to be out there where the people live, not huddled together here for survival. Jesus quotes Isaiah, "I have been anointed to bring glad tidings to the poor, to proclaim liberty to captives, to let the oppressed go free." How do we proclaim a gospel that we don't live? It's not just words that are read out of this book, not just an empty theory. This gospel is our story, the very story of our life. And it challenges our life as a church, our values, and our life as a nation. The gospel needs to be fulfilled in all of our actions, each and every day. So the power of the Spirit. What does power really do? Is power for itself, or is power for others? And again, we can look at the crucifix and we have a reminder that the power of our God was in his self-giving love for others, not for himself. So when we listen to that gospel today, to open the eyes of the blind, my question is, but who's blind? Who doesn't matter in our culture? Sometimes we gather and our community becomes a very insular, isolated, and exclusive community. We have to be able to see through our eyes, hear through our ears, feel through our heart. And we're told in the Beatitudes of Jesus and Jesus living out his mission that we need to hunger and thirst for justice. We are peacemakers and called to be peacemakers in our families and our communities. We are called to stand in solidarity with people of different races, language, ability, gender, and culture. The rights of the unborn, our families, the rights of workers and the rights of immigrants, the poor, all creation, and the environment is all part of our mission and part of our responsibility. It's before us, but we have to be able to see. We can't be blinded by our own little world. Do you realize that in the prisons in the United States, there are 2.4 million people incarcerated? 1 out of every 28 children in the United States have a parent incarcerated. Children and mothers, I can tell you, are imprisoned in their own neighborhoods and homes. We keep the oppressed out of our country, and there are over 60 million refugees in the world. 60 million people trying to find a home, trying to find food, trying to find a safe haven, a place where they're welcome. We can't be blinded. And then there are those who live in zip codes of poverty, violence, captivity, unemployment, police records, heroin addiction. And the heroin addiction touches every zip code in our county. So the question Jesus asks us today, are we blind to these realities? What are we called to be as representatives of the gospel, as carriers of that mission? And if we took that seriously, if we listened to that and allowed the power of the Spirit to bring us to life, what would the world and what could the world be? God bless you.